Alright, so I want to talk about Granblue Fantasy Versus Rising because there's been a lot of talk around it, and for the most part, as expected, a lot of people really don't like the game because they're like so unfamiliar with it, or the things that the characters used to do is not the same, or they just find out that the characters have been flat out nerfed or things like that. So overall, just to say, I'm not criticizing those people because they're actually not totally wrong. They're actually not totally wrong. There's definitely been a lot of changes for a lot of characters. And while I was playing the first session of the open beta, not the pre-open beta, because the two sessions of the pre-open beta I played, I kind of wanted to just have a feel for the game. But the first session of the actual open beta was pretty good because I got to answer a lot of the questions that I had before, and I did that by testing out a lot of different characters. Now, Granblue is not a game where it's really hard to figure out characters. They're pretty straightforward. It's just a game that is pretty simple overall for that reason. So in all Granblue, I tried a bunch of characters too, and I've had a good feel for all of them overall. But in this game, it seems like a lot of them are so different from the core that you don't recognize them. And I can definitely see people being like, what the hell did they do to my character? My character's nerfed. So there's a reason for that. Because in the first session, like I said, I was going in the discovery phase for a lot of characters. But in the second session, which was very early in the morning today, I had to actually stay up all night. And I was really tired after that. In the second session, I figured that the game has been kind of balanced around three mechanics. Like, actually, all characters are balanced around all those three mechanics, and the three mechanics are dash attacks, ultimate skills, and raging strike. You will notice that a lot of characters have really weird, kind of useless ultimate skills. There's a good reason for that. You will also notice that some characters have really oppressive dash attacks, and that some other characters use Raging Strike in either unseeable ways or very cheaply because they don't have to use Raging Chain to get like combos out of that or things like that, right? So I'm saying that based on all the takes that I've seen on Twitter, and I'm like, whoa, what is happening there, right? So you have all that stuff, and then you actually also notice that a lot of characters are different from the core. Like I said, like Zeta, for example, her spear, like before she would use 6/6 in order to do her spear special, but it's no longer the case, and that's because of dash attacks, right? Because of the input. So anyways, let's talk about dash attacks first, because it's a very good mechanic, and I actually see that a lot of people are not using dash attacks even though they are really good. First of all, I've noticed, right, a lot of people are actually talking about the way combos work in gbvs, and the thing is, from old Granblue, you could get more stuff off of like a crouching light or stuff like that. It's no longer the case. You can still get it, but only on counter hit. However, now you get more. Actually, you get a lot of things off of dash light. So dash light is kind of the way. It's kind of almost like the basic combo of the game. Dash light, firelight into special. It's kind of the base combo of the game. A lot of characters do it really well. Some characters don't, however. The other thing too is that dash lights are just really plus, and you can just have a good pressure with them. And you will notice that some characters again can cover the dash light on block way better than some other characters. So say for example Gran, you do dash light with Gran, it's pretty good overall. And Gran has a good way to cover it with things like his far light, far medium, and crouch medium. And also crouch light is pretty good too with Gran actually. So Gran, for example, is pretty good with like dash attacks overall, with dash light. But then you take a character like Catalina, she can cover her dash light only with far light or crouch medium. I think her standing medium can do it too, but it kind of lacks range sometimes. Her crouch light is pretty bad at doing that as well. So because of that, it's like a weird little balance around dash light. Some characters are just better than others with that. Now you have dash mediums. Dash mediums are pretty interesting overall for every character. They don't really define characters that much, but they do have a little bit of utility sometimes. Like sometimes they're overheads, sometimes they low crush, sometimes they slide underneath some moves. And then the most important type of dash attack is actually dash heavy. So overall, dash heavies are punishable and they are kind of like moves that have different properties, like really different properties. Say Cagliostro, for example, her dash heavy will just switch sides with you, and because of that, you get hit by a trap or something like that she placed on the screen. So that's kind of how it works sometimes for some characters. Or you have like Zoe's, for example. Zoe's dash heavy is like a shield bash. She gets an armor from that. I don't even know if it's armor or if it's flat out I don't get hit type of thing, like a really active hitbox that would kind of clash with everything. I don't know if it's something like that. I'm not sure, but regardless, it's a thing. It's like a hitbox that protects her the entire time. She can easily power through so many things. She can power through ultimate skills, multi-hitting ultimate. She powers through everything with that move. I don't think she powers through lows, however. I think it's just the way to beat that, it's lows. So you have things like that that really define characters really well when it comes to heavy dash attacks. And some dash attacks, you will notice, can actually give you a combos. Some others don't give you a combo. They just launch the opponent far away and that's it. So there's a little bit of balance going on for that. And characters, like I said, some characters are much better than others when it comes to that. Now let's talk about ultimate skills. Ultimate skills are pretty interesting overall in the game. I don't know if they're actually well designed, because sometimes I feel like they just lack power overall. The thing, however, with ultimate skill is that there are some of them that are just YOLO type ultimate skills and you get so much off of them. The big thing too is the refund off of ultimate skills. So for example, Beelzebub, right? Say I play Beelzebub and his ultimate skills are pretty dumb. Obviously, you have Karma, that is really stupid. Ultimate Karma is super dumb. You also have Ultimate Chaos Caliber, which is not that dumb, but it's a full screen move that has some purpose. So one thing that's huge about Beelzebub, right, is his projectile, medium projectile, charge medium projectile is super good in this game because of ultimate skills. So if you land charge medium projectile, because for example people try to dodge it sometimes, people try to just cross over that and then they get hit on counter hit. The thing is, you actually get an easy combo off of like things like ultimate Karma because of that. And because of that, you get a refund of 25% easily just off of that. Karma will go on cooldown, right, for a long time, but then you still have ultimate Chaos Caliber, so you can kind of loop Chaos Caliber. You do medium black flies, you loop it with like Karma, or then you do medium black flies again, and then you do ultimate Chaos Caliber. So those moves are really good for Beelzebub. They're really strong, and you can constantly get your refund because of that. It is insane. So some characters definitely use ultimate skills way better than other characters. And you would think, oh my god, my character has a useless ultimate skill, but it's because of other things sometimes. Or ultimate skills are part of a utility thing. They're not actually there to be really strong, like unlike some other characters. Now the other thing that I want to talk about is when it comes to ultimate skill is actually Lancelot. So I played Lancelot a little bit, and I discovered that ultimate skills come in at least 3 different categories. So you have your regular ultimate skill that will be like a projectile, because everybody has kind of a projectile in the game. But it would be like, say, your quarter circle forward motion, right? That's the base thing that everybody does. So that's kind of your projectile type, quote unquote, ultimate skill. Usually for a lot of characters, they cover the screen. Like if you have that with, say, Siegfried, you throw the thing, it covers the entire screen. Like, okay, cool. Some of them are really good, some of them are not that good. And then like Vaseraga, for example, his projectile is not very good, but it kind of invalidates characters that have like really good projectiles. So it's like an anti-zoner tool if you want to get in. If you use Lancelot's ultimate projectile, you would think, oh my god, this thing is completely useless and worthless, which is kind of what I thought when I played the first session of the open beta. But in the second session, I actually went through it and I kind of wanted to see what it did. That move actually freezes the opponent for at least 2 seconds, I think. And what happens because of, I don't know if it's 2 seconds or 1 second, it's pretty short actually. So because your opponent is frozen, what happens is that the entire frame data is completely changed. First of all, they have like a really floaty jump. They have the floatiest jump in history because of that projectile. And on top of that, their frame data whenever they do moves, like their startup is significantly slower. And then some of their ultimate skills are also more like defensive type ultimate skills. Instant armor moves, DPs with characters that don't have DPs actually. It's pretty nice that they actually give that tool to some characters. And then you finally have another type that is more like combo utility type skill. For example, Zoe's her swords, you know, the follow the sword with the 2-hit swords. So that move, for example, you can do it off of an anti-air. So you have those 3 types of ultimate skills. Now, there's a 4th type of ultimate skill I want to say. I don't really know if I would literally count it, but some characters have it and some characters don't. And that type is the YOLO type ultimate skill. And that's why I would say Beelzebub is way better than some characters with that, because he really has YOLO type skills. Even Lancelot has a YOLO type ultimate skill, like his dash is pretty much a YOLO type skill. And it also is safe on block, by the way. It's not safe on block, you actually have the advantage, which is crazy. So that's kind of how it is for ultimate skills. And like I said, some characters are just significantly better than some other characters with that. Now you have the third balance, right? The third type of character, the ones that are really good with Raging Strike. So that's kind of how it goes. Characters are just better than others with some of the system mechanics, and it's kind of important to figure out which character is good with what. So Raging Strike characters, like I said, you have Vera, you have like you have like Eustace, Fairy, Belial. Now about Raging Strike, I've seen a lot of people talk about it, and a lot of people being like, oh my god, it's way too strong, it's too broken. But in reality, Raging Strike, the more I played the game, the more I figured that it's not that strong. Well, it's really, really good. But similar to DI, right? Similar to Drive Impact in Street Fighter 6, you will get used to it eventually. You'll be able to look out for it. And it has a lot of counter plays actually. You can easily like preemptively dodge it or call it out by dodging. You can also DP it. It's easy to DP. I don't know if it actually loses to crossover, but it might lose to crossover. I would have to actually experiment with that. It also, obviously the main thing is that you can easily beat it with like Brave counters. Now, do you have to always have Brave counters? Not really. The thing is, it depends heavily on the meta of the opponent. If the opponent only has like 50%, obviously you want to use the Brave counter there. But if they don't, you don't really have to use Brave counter. You don't really have to use that. And the thing is, people can decide if they want to use the 50% or the 25% version. You can do 25% just to deplete the bravery points of the opponent, or you can just go with the 50% and do way more than what you wanted to do. But there's a choice there. So yeah, like I said, some characters just get good stuff of Raging Strike and they don't actually have to use the whole 50%. They can just use 25% and that's it. So that's kind of what I figured out, and why you cannot play Granblue Rising the same way you play Granblue Versus. They're very different games. The balance for characters is totally different. Some characters have been repurposed to fit with all 3 of these mechanics, and they're just really good overall. And I'm telling you, if you play Granblue Versus currently, like you play Granblue, if you play Granblue Rising currently, like you play Granblue Versus, you are heavily missing out on a lot of things that characters can do. So that's why it's really worth it to explore more with the new mechanics and the new systems and try to understand the identity of the character based on those three mechanics. So yeah, that's it for this video. That's all I wanted to say. So if you found it useful, hopefully you leave a like, leave a comment what you think about it. But like I said, explore all three mechanics with your characters and see what they're really good at and what they're not really good at compared to other characters in the cast. So yeah, alright, I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.